All right, welcome to the But That's Okay podcast. This is episode 5. As always, it is Zach, Joe, and Caleb. Woo! Oh yeah, that's right. Everybody's excited to be here today. So today we are going back in time 2 episodes back to the NFL because oddly enough, it turns out we really enjoy talking about the NFL. Mm-hmm. And this time we're not going to necessarily focus on teams as much as we are going to talk about different things surrounding the NFL, not necessarily on the field, but on the sidelines / off the field, right. I guess. Yeah, that sounds good.
Policies.
And it's kind of old news now. It was like a really big deal last season, and then the first of this season was a really huge deal. But it's kind of died off the past couple of weeks, and what I'm personally talking about is the on-field protests that a lot of people have been doing, both players, coaches, even, like the CEOs and different people who are in charge of the teams, things like that. But the thing that sort of re-sparked my opinion on this given topic is this past Sunday, the New England Patriots and the Oakland Raiders played in Mexico City, Mexico. And Marshawn Lynch is a very outspoken football player.
That's the way to say it.
In both good and bad ways.
Right.
He played for the Seahawks, got, the short end of the deal in that one Super Bowl that one time when they were like, you're only the best running back in the league. We're on the 1 yard line, but we'll throw it.
That for hours and hours.
Hey, if it would have worked, it would have been the smartest coaching decision ever.
It would have been, except for the fact. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, retired, came back, played for the Oakland Raiders. You don't need a backstory on Marshawn Lynch. What you do need to know, though, is while they were in Mexico City, Marshawn Lynch has been one of those players that has been kneeling or sitting or staying in the locker room, whichever version, throughout the season. But interesting, just a little tidbit, while they were playing in Mexico, when they played the United States national anthem, he was sitting, but when they played the Mexican national anthem, he stood. So it's sort of interesting that for the host country that, employs him, he won't stand for the national anthem, but for the guest country that's like, oh, hey, come bring extra revenue to our country, he does stand for their national anthem. What do you guys think about that? I'm very opinionated, and I want to hear your opinion before I spread my opinion on this.
So let's just get it straight. Mexico's actually pretty darn terrible. It's a terrible country. Do you realize how much poverty that country is?
Yes. I have a great story about my extreme dislike for Mexico and how I will never, ever, ever, ever go back to Mexico ever again. Yeah. That is this is not the place or the time for that because we're talking about football. So, yes, Mexico is not one of my favorite places in the world. It has a ton of poverty. Continue. I'm sorry.
Maybe he was going to continue to sit if he wasn't in fear for his life.
I don't think so.
They also are usually, this is completely unrelated, but they're kind of tied with the U.S. for obesity rates. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
They're right next to us, and they're coming near us for obesity rates. That's kind of funny to me.
See, Marshawn Lynch was being an outstanding guy, standing, and he was like, guys, look, it's not hard. Stand up.
Do you think Fatty Lacey would have stood up?
Eddie Lacy.
Do you think he would have tried?
Cheeseburger Eddie.
Cheeseburger Eddie would have tried.
Anyway, back on topic. I think it is okay to be opinionated in this regard for Marshawn Lynch. I don't get the argument of they shouldn't be using their platform for their own opinions because their platform is given to them because of their talent and they can use it however they please. You don't have to like them, but you can respect the fact that they are allowed to say what they have to say. And if the only people that at the end of the day that have the final push is if the owners don't want them. Mm-hmm. And the owners don't care because the owners only care if you perform in football. If it was the other way around, Colin Kaepernick would be the number 1 quarterback in the league. But he's a bad quarterback, so he's gone.
Yeah, he's not that great.
So
he just has this dark shadow where he was like, I'm going to be super opinionated about this thing. And then everybody's like, what are you doing? Like,
well, he's allowed to do that. I don't know why he started to kind of fall off as a quarterback. I sometimes think it's because of but even then, you shouldn't go from losing a Super Bowl to having one of the worst, like slowly going downhill. Usually, when you lose a Super Bowl, you figure out how to get better and you try and get back to the Super Bowl. But their team just went downhill. Mm-hmm. I personally think it was because their head coach left.
Yeah.
And I think he started to lose drive since then.
Yeah.
But just I don't see the argument of you're not allowed to use the platform in a certain way because I don't like it.
Well, and see, I don't think it's that necessarily because I both really, really appreciate and like the fact that they're doing this, but I also really hate that they're doing this because, like you said, these guys, these 20 to 30-year-old guys who are literally the epitome of, physical prowess and athletics as far as the United States is concerned, they get paid a lot of money to do nothing but go out and play a game. Mm-hmm. For them, it's so much more than a game, but at the end of the day, they are just entertainers. That is their industry, is entertainment.
Sure.
If we didn't derive entertainment from it, football wouldn't exist.
You're right.
So what that means is there's a ton of eyes on them, both young and old, and they are role models. They very much so are role models, especially for kids, teenagers. And on top of all that, they got a ton of money. I mean, they get paid handsomely for what they do.
Yeah.
When you consider all they're doing, when you consider their industry as entertainment, boiling it down to a very, very basic, I don't know how to phrase this, a very basic type of employment. Because they don't create anything. They're not providing a service or a good. They're just providing entertainment. But they get paid handsomely for that, which means they have a lot of influence. And they're televised to millions of people, so they have tons and tons of influence. And they do have the ability to enact change, both in their communities and on a national scale. And with how the National Football League is expanding, to Mexico and England, they're moving to a more global scale of influence. London is a massive Jaguars community. They love the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mm-hmm. I have no idea why, but they do. And those players have a massive influence there when they go to London. That's considered a home game for them, which is really, really cool to think about. Mm-hmm. So I really like that they realize that, hey, I come out every Sunday for 4 hours and I play this game, and there are millions of people watching me play this game.
Right.
I have the ability to stand up or speak out against something that I don't agree with or something that I believe needs to change, be an advocate for something. Mm. I think it's awesome that they realize they have that influence and they're taking action for that. My issue comes in the fact that they feel the best way for them to do that, at least recently, has been to sit during the national anthem. Now, I don't consider myself a zealot, or I probably wouldn't even consider myself a patriot, but I do think that I am very patriotic. I love the United States of America. I'm very thankful to live here. There's a lot of people that say a lot of bad things about our country, and our country is not perfect. It's far from it, but there is no place I'd rather live. Plain and simple, there's no one who's going to present any argument that's going to make me go, oh yeah, I probably should move to wherever else. Forget that nonsense. That's not even, that doesn't even count. So when they sit for the national anthem, there's two sides to that. There's the initial side of, what are you doing? This is our nation's anthem. There's so much emotion that's evoked in that song that it plays. As soon as you hear it playing, you feel something. And it's because we've been taught that from a very young age that, we do live a very privileged life. We do have a lot more freedoms than a lot of other people around the world have. And we should be respectful of that because there are millions and millions of people who have died so that we can sit here and have a podcast talking about other people. I mean, right. Truly. I mean, there are countries where people cannot do what we're doing right now. Like if you do not realize that you are privileged in the United States, you're wrong. Plain and simple.
Right.
So there is offense that is taken from them kneeling or sitting or whatever, because from a young age, I was taught you stand, you put your hand over your heart, you take your hat off, and for the next 2.5 minutes, you have a moment of silence and you pay your respect, or whatever the case is. But I also know why they're doing that, because I've taken the initiative to be like, hey, why is Marshawn Lynch sitting? Why is Colin Kaepernick kneeling? Why are all these different players doing these different things? And they have really good reason for it. There's social injustices, and there's so many there's a million different reasons for a million different players who are protesting. It's just sad to me that they've decided the best way for them to do that is to kneel during the national anthem, because it's not raising awareness for whatever their cause is. I guarantee you 98% of the general public has no idea what these different players are protesting for. They just see them kneeling for the national anthem. And so instead of raising awareness for their cause or whatever it is, they're just distracting and creating a new dialogue, a new conversation. And in return, it's just like creating more, divisiveness, more hatred. Just it's you're
more
literally
drama.
Yeah, and shooting yourself in the foot.
The NFL is a ratings show. Anybody that denies that, I think you're crazy. Yes, it's a football, league, and it's got the NFC and the AFC Championship, Super Bowl. Cool. The bigwigs don't care. They care about how many people are watching. I kind of think that it's stupid that if it was all about football, they would never show you the sidelines. They would never show Odell Beckham Jr. getting mad after any play. They would never show anyone getting mad after anything. They would just go, and this is the game. Okay, they're in the huddle. They're figuring out what they're going to do. This is boring. Nobody wants to watch that. They're already losing ratings so much so that they're thinking about cutting Thursday night football. Sad. I think that's terrible.
It is terrible.
But they don't have people watching. I think to a certain degree, I'm not going to go all full-blown conspiracy theory, but I think to a certain degree, they were like, this is good.
This is something we can roll with. This is something we can monetize.
They are standing up for something, and even if we don't believe in it, we are going to get some money out of it, because somebody somewhere is going to go, why are they doing that? Or, oh my gosh, I'm so glad they're doing that. And they're just going to watch.
But here's the catch to that is, I don't know if you've noticed, and maybe I've just missed it, but over the past couple of weeks, they don't even air the national anthem anymore.
Right. I think it's because originally they thought this is a good thing, and then watched how many people were like, I'm going to burn every jersey I own. And then they were like, whoa, maybe we messed up.
Yeah, the market's doing what the market's designed to do, which is just to be free. There are people that are going to disagree, and there are people that are going to be very passionate about their beliefs, and they're going to choose to protest in other ways.
Yeah,
I agree with Joe on the owner's standpoint, though. If you want to stand up for whatever you believe in, and you choose for it to be during the national anthem, I disagree with that, but it's not my choice. It's the owner's choice.
Right.
Granted, if an owner says, you kneel during the national anthem and you're fired, he has every right to say that.
Yeah, because
again, I don't think it's necessarily going to happen with every individual.
Yeah.
If Carson Wentz kneels during the national anthem, I guarantee you he's starting the next game.
Yeah.
But, he maybe doesn't get re-signed. Maybe,
like 2 years ago on Hard Knocks, when Jeff Fisher was still a coach, before old Fitty got fired, they had this whole thing where they had an all-players meeting, and he told them, like, hey, this is what you do when the national anthem plays. He's like, you will have your helmet under your left arm, you will have your right hand over your heart, you will stand, straight.
And there's a lot more of that uniformity.
Yeah.
Now, just because it's something that they've never really probably had to go over because everyone that's in the NFL more than likely has played football for however long, with the exception of Chris Hogan. I'm so upset that boy played lacrosse in high school and in college. What the heck? Anyways, everybody knows what they're supposed to do. And then whenever you have Colin Kaepernick or whoever finally steps out and kind of does their own thing, coaches and the owners are just kind of like, can he can do that?
Yeah.
The most ridiculous thing about the whole thing is Colin Kaepernick was doing it for a long time before he ever was like televised doing it. And it wasn't until like one of these TV personalities were like, hey,
why are you doing that?
He's kneeling during the national anthem. What is he doing?
Yeah. And it's because they didn't have anything else to talk about that day.
It's like literally 8 weeks ago when he was doing this, no one cared.
Yeah, and I think that really speaks volume for him as a player. I think he did not even mention it once, did he? He didn't like once say, hey, did you guys notice that I was kneeling during the national anthem?
Yeah, he didn't like go grab a camera.
He defended himself.
And he would defend him. Yeah, exactly. So I think that speaks volume for his cause. I don't think he did it for monetization. I think he did it because he truly believes something is wrong.
Well, see, but that was the other issue with Colin Kaepernick is when he first got like the publicity from it of like, ooh, like renegade quarterback in the NFL. The issue was like not only was he kneeling or sitting or whatever, he wasn't doing anything. He was just like, I don't think it's right because of whatever my cause is.
What?
And they were like, okay, well then what are you doing about it? I'm talking about it. And like there were so many people who ripped him. It's like, why aren't you donating money? Why aren't you donating time? Like why aren't you like doing more than just, being like, I don't think this is right.
I think I am right here. He does donate money.
He does now, but he wasn't. Like, it wasn't until he got called out about this stuff that he was like, I'm not doing anything. Well, but then he did. So, I mean, like, he made up for it, but it was sort of like, you're reacting. You're not really being a leader of change. You're just sort of like, man, I don't like this, so I'm going to, like, make a big deal out of it.
Well, I think he could, you could make the argument that he was biding his time until the media noticed him.
But why?
Because
you don't want to look like the schoolgirl.
If he just donated money and no one knew he was kneeling for what he was kneeling for, what does the donating money look like?
It looks like that he's donating money. He's giving assets away to whatever his cause is to help
like he
further the cause.
But he's not raising awareness of that.
But a lot of people,
that seems more selfish than anything, because it's like, oh no, look at me. Look at me.
Yes.
Now this is my cause. It's like, dude, why don't you take care of your cause? And then when you get interviewed and be like, like, huge win today, whatever, I'm not going to Disneyland. I'm going to go help whatever his cause is.
Because his cause was not at all televised until he was seen.
Right.
When he was seen, he then took action. He was not seen when he was seen. Then he took action.
Right, but he wasn't taking action before he got the publicity. That's my issue, is like, if I have something that I believe in, I'm going to do something about it. I'm not going to stand on the side of the road with a sign that says, look at me, look at me, look at me. Right. And then when, a news crew stops by and is like, you've been out here for the last 6 months with this sign. What's your thing? It's like, this is my thing. Well, what do you do about it? Well, I'm not doing anything yet. I wanted to get the recognition, and now I'm going to go do something. It's like, no. You go... I think you go enact change before you get your selfish sort of like, oh hey, now I feel better because everybody sees me.
Can I say that if he had just come out and said what he was doing and like just said what his thing was, and I feel like at the time people were not talking about the issue and people were not thinking about the issue as he was.
Yeah.
And whenever he got the publicity from kneeling, he suddenly realized that he had people that could back him up. Because people came out in support of him.
That's true.
That he did not know would come out in support of him. And when he saw that support, he said, oh crap,
I'm not going to get blacklisted
I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy here. People actually think the same way I do. Now I'm going to devote my time to this because people can get behind me and can say, hey, Colin Kaepernick thinks this. Now I'm going to actually put my time into this. Because if he was putting his money and his time into something that would enact no change because he's not getting any publicity for it and he's not getting anything for it, then it is effectively wasting money. So when he realized the opportunity, that he could put his money into this and he could put his time into this, he did it.
Right, but I mean, here's a question. and I'll go on and tell you right now that I don't know the answer to this. Why was Colin Kaepernick kneeling?
Oh, you do know the answer to this though, don't you?
I don't. I do not know what social injustice or whatever it was that he was kneeling for. At least I don't remember. I probably knew at one point, but I don't remember what it is now.
It was about black people getting killed on the streets and about racism towards people of color.
Okay, so there are plenty of organizations out there. That did not become an issue when Colin Kaepernick started protesting. That's been an issue for more than
decades. Was not even put into the NFL ever, though. That was never talked about in the NFL until him. Right. He was the first in the NFL to have that talked about.
I think mine and Zach's biggest issue is that you said that because he did not have any publicity or attention for it, that it was sort of like a waste of money. Because, my thing is...
He couldn't have made it... Sorry, that's not exactly it. It's not that it was a waste of money. It is that he couldn't have made the most of the situation had he invested it beforehand than after. He would have effectively... his opportunity cost is the better term. Putting it in before then was way less than after he got his recognition.
I think if you look at it from a business standpoint, yes, I agree with you. But in the standpoint of, I'm a guy, not an NFL quarterback, I'm a person with a substantial amount of money, and I care about this, but I kneel about it. Until he was noticed, he goes, I kneel about it. I think it would have been a lot better on his side or on his standpoint, at least for mine and Zach's case, if, the first time they call attention to it, he's like, yeah, I've been doing this, and this about it. I've been donating this much money every year. I've been talking about this with other players, blah, blah, blah. But, and he could have just up in one day decided, like, I care about this now. Or, like, the first time he kneeled could have been the first day he heard about all of these social injustices, which...
And it was. Yeah. He was like you guys said, he was kneeling a long time before people noticed him.
Yeah.
Right. But you're saying the first day he kneeled was the first time that he had ever heard about any of this stuff.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
He probably believed that there was a racial injustice to this whole thing for a long time.
Right. I'm just saying I don't think his first step to do anything about it should have been, and I'm going to kneel during the national anthem. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, it got him attention, but like, if you're a quarterback getting paid millions of dollars and you actually care about something, you have a lot of time and a lot of money to donate, but instead he decided to kneel first as his first step of action. I just think that is his biggest flaw in all of this.
Yeah.
Let's take away time real quick. No quarterback in the NFL has that much time. Come on, they're a quarterback in the NFL. How much time do you have to put into football to be good at football?
Still have
I'm not saying that.
But money, yes. Time, no.
But see, I just
money, yes.
like how many you can hop on Facebook. You don't even have to go to like team websites or anything like that. You can hop on Facebook and you can see stuff all over the place where these players are connecting with the communities that they're in, that they're enacting change. I mean, the biggest publicity comes from
J.J. Watt?
No, not J.J. Watt. I mean, J.J. Watt's a great example, but just like these camps they do with kids, like they make time.
Jason Witten throws a football camp in Elizabeth every year.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah. I've been to one of those.
So
I mean, like their football players are extremely busy, especially when they're in mid-season. Like, they are extremely, extremely busy. Like, no doubt about it. But they have the off-season. Like, if your team doesn't make the playoffs, you got lots of time off. They do get time off to go on vacations and do these different trips and things like that. So they have plenty of time to interact with the communities that they live in, that their team lives in, that fans come through. And that means they got plenty of time to be with whatever organization. Most of these players have their own organizations that they set up. The Peyton Manning Foundation, the Eli Manning Foundation, literally every famous football player foundation known to man that is for different things that they have set up for a more focused means of whatever it is, medical research or giving back or providing for those who are less fortunate, whatever the case is. So they have time and they have all the money in the world to be able to do that. My issue with Colin Kaepernick is just the fact that from the information I've been given and the research that I've done, yes, he saw there was an issue. Yes, he was protesting the fact that there wasn't enough awareness. That's all well and good. But if this was really something that he was truly, honestly passionate about, in my mind, he would have done something about it. He would have been in the streets.
Right.
He would have been at these, shelters or whatever the case is, saying, hey, you want to know what I'm doing on Monday afternoons after we get out of practice? I'm going here and I'm, handing out food. I'm doing X, Y, and Z. If he was doing that, it's like, yeah, good for you. Not only are you trying to bring awareness to your cause or whatever situation, but you're out there in the streets. You're in the trenches. You're being a leader in this. Not just saying, hey, look at me. Now look at this. You all are bad people for not supporting me in this.
Not even to that level. I think Colin Kaepernick would still be playing in the NFL if he would have just done this one thing different. Doesn't kneel during the national anthem. Mm-hmm. Refuses to talk to press for whatever reason, and just goes about it any different way. Like, wins the game, and they go, all right, we're going to interview with Colin Kaepernick, and he's like, not until you all address XYZ. Walks off the field, and they're like, but just go about it any sort of different way than.
A few moments later.
Okay, so we need to apologize to everybody. So there's about 45 minutes of some very, very gentlemanly discussion that occurred just now that we are going to save. For those of you who might be interested in it, we had a roughly 45-minute Colin Kaepernick discussion that... So we weren't friends for a few minutes, and that's okay. But that's okay.
But that is okay.
But that's okay. So what we're gonna do is Joe's gonna take care of that, and we're gonna have a separate little podcast extra, so that people who want to hear that debate, they can hear it. But we're not gonna put that in the full episode.
If you want to see the angry side of Joe, Zach, and Caleb, click here.
Right there.
It is the reason why I think we're cutting this out is because it was a rant and it wasn't a discussion.
Yeah, it was stupid.
I'd also agree that combined we had a 7 IQ. There's just a lot of no. So you're back in. Let's get back into this.
Okay, so what Caleb kind of boiled it down for us all before we came back in is that we all kind of agree that A, Colin Kaepernick is not a good quarterback. We can all agree on that.
Yep.
And B, that he's just straight up not a good person.
Butthole.
Yep.
And that. So, awesome segue opportunity. Speaking of bad people.
Yes.
And the most hated commissioner of all time for the NFL, Roger Goodell, is up for a contract extension. Skeletor second, Roger Goodell number 1. So he's up for a contract extension, and there's a lot of drama surrounding him and his best friend in the entire world, not Robert Kraft, surprisingly enough.
If any CEOs are listening, please do not vote Roger Goodell for another term.
Yeah.
Roger Goodell 2017.
Yeah, so Jerry Jones and Roger Goodell are at each other's throat. They're having spears thrown at each other.
If you want to hear that debate, no.
No. We're gonna make this a lot more concise, I think. Anyway, so back when Roger Goodell first became the commissioner of the NFL, he was unanimously voted to be the commissioner.
Really?
All the team presidents were like,
that guy.
This is our guy. We love him. He's our guy.
Do you know when that was? How long ago that was?
I don't know how long ago that was.
Idea. Okay.
It couldn't have been too terribly long ago.
No.
5 years, something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so now he's up for a contract extension, and Jerry Jones hates him. And Jerry Jones hates him because Roger Goodell has taken his new toy called Ezekiel Elliott away from him. And Jerry Jones is a businessman. He understands that right now his team is the best team to go win a Super Bowl that he's had for a little while with Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. They still got...
Rodgers is hurt.
Yeah.
This was his year.
There was no competition. But, so Jerry Jones is pretty upset about this.
He is. I'm upset.
I'm okay with it.
Anyway,
I'm upset because I have Ezekiel Elliott. And
on your fantasy
he's
team.
on my bench right now with an SSPD next to his name.
Yeah, I don't know why he's on your bench. You need to drop that foo. You think they're going to make the playoffs?
Okay, come on.
Anyway. Enough of that. So, Jerry Jones has threatened to sue the NFL if Roger Goodell gets his 5-year extension. It's like $200 million, lifetime health care. He gets a jet for a lifetime.
That's
like
nice.
even when it's all written into this contract that he's getting. And Jerry Jones has threatened to sue the NFL if they do this. Well, the NFL has turned around and said to Jerry Jones, hey, mind your own business. And Jerry Jones was like, hey, screw you, I'm Jerry Jones. I can do whatever I want. I'm the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. And they were like, here's the deal. If you continue this action, this train of thought that you have, we will disenfranchise the Dallas Cowboys and you will no longer be a member of the NFL. You will be the owner of a team that's completely irrelevant and can't play in our league anymore.
Canadian Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially the NFL was like, if you don't stop being mean to me, I'm going to take my ball and go home. Mm-hmm. So what do you think about that? Because I think that's pretty great. I would love to see them just like...
I want a little bit of backstory.
The lawyer that they have to use is Colin Kaepernick, and Colin Kaepernick to go. Anyway, go ahead, Caleb.
One, if Jerry Jones does not use the same legal team that Ezekiel Elliott used, he's in the wrong.
Yeah.
That man Florida skated by for 6 weeks. Two, I would like to know how many votes Roger Goodell needs to get, because it obviously doesn't have to be unanimous, because if that were the case, Jerry Jones would just go, no, and sit back in his chair, and then Roger Goodell doesn't get it. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many votes he needs. 7?
Do they vote him in, Zach? Do you know that process? Do they vote him for another contract?
For the contract extension, I don't think so. I'm not going to pretend that I know everything about this. I know when they vote for a new commissioner, it is an actual vote. Now, I think it has to be like majority. I don't know what the majority is.
32 teams?
32 teams. So
17.
But I think with a contract extension, I think it's just sort of like everybody is like, yeah, we like him, so the NFL writes up a contract. And I think it does have to be approved because the commissioner essentially works for the owners.
Right.
But I don't think it's a vote by any stretch of the imagination. But Jerry Jones is also, he's the highest profile owner, but he's the only owner that I've heard about who's...
He's the only owner I know.
Up in arms. I mean, Robert Kraft was pissed off at Roger Goodell last year because of Deflategate and all this other nonsense. Right. But, Tom Brady served his suspension, and Robert Kraft has been quiet ever since. They just sort of have that...
They won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl, and Robert Kraft is just like, you do what you want to do. I still have the best team in the league.
Oh,
whatever.
We won the Super Bowl, and I can't have my quarterback for the first 4 games. Oh, God.
Man, this is just awful.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And then they ended up winning 3 of the first 4 without Brady anyways, and they're like, by the way, we have a Super Bowl team. Doing it again.
And not only that, we're going to come back from one of the biggest deficits in the Super Bowl and win it. But,
Julian Edelman for the win.
Anyhow. So, the NFL's hurting right now. The NFL has way too much stuff going on outside of the football field that's taken away from it. And it's really disappointing because it's like, I remember when you were watching football and you watched football and the commentators were like, John Madden was like, now here we got Brett Favre. Brett Favre is the greatest quarterback that's ever lived in the entire world. Now see, what happens is Brett Favre throws the ball, and when his wide receiver catches it in the end zone, now that's a touchdown, everybody. Brett Favre threw his 89 millionth touchdown, and I was here to see it. I remember back in the day when I was a head coach, and I coached people how to throw touchdowns. Man, if I had Brett Favre back in my day, I would have won every Super Bowl even now.
Yeah, you watched football and you got football. Do you think that Jerry Jones could actually gain anything off of this? Do you think it is a hopeless cause to go against the giant behemoth known as the NFL in this case?
I don't think it's a hopeless cause. Well, maybe it is a hopeless cause.
A chance. Do you know how many people like Roger Goodell right now?
Not many.
No, nobody likes Roger Goodell. Nope. But also think about his job. Like, he has a job where essentially you are paid a ton of money to be hated.
His job is, by the way, you have all these superstars that are going to get you to the. I don't like that guy. No, you can't have him.
Yeah.
No, and they're like, bruh, I just spent so much money on him. And he's like, no, hit a woman. And you're like, he was drunk. He doesn't. He can't. And he's like, no.
It was in college. He didn't mean to. He didn't mean to steal those crap legs. It's fine.
No.
It's like that's too far. I think there has never been a more infamous owner of the NFL though, or commissioner of the NFL. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's never been a more infamous commissioner.
Vince
of the
McMahon.
NFL. Anyway, like I'm just saying like that. Yes, he has a tough job, but I don't think it's really a job that you automatically have to be hated by. You know, like I think honestly, he was pretty fair, but that's just my opinion. But like, you can make the argument from Jerry Jones' standpoint that like it would be good for the NFL to restart, right?
Yeah.
Because they've been losing viewership, and like you can have a new commissioner, you can have someone that's a new face of the NFL that's not Roger Goodell, and not have all this hate around.
I kind of think it's dumb that you lose viewers and you go, okay, you know how we're going to fix this? How are we going to do that? We're going to let them dance in the end zone however they like from now on. And it's like, what?
Yeah, that is kind of funny.
Now, one thing they are doing to try and get more viewers is they are going to the Skycam because they want that Madden look,
which is
on
pretty
TV.
cool.
Those are so cool.
Those are really cool, and they've cut down on the commercial breaks.
Do you know how?
Which is even better.
That was complete accident, by the way. Like, one of their sideline cameras was down for whatever reason, and they were like, oh, shoot, just go to the Skycam. And, like, everybody lost their minds. Like,
You're talking
you know what
about the
happened?
Atlanta Falcons and Patriots.
Yeah, when the fog rolled in and they were
Right.
like, the Skycam couldn't
That
see
was-
anything, so they were like, oh, we'll do the over-the-shoulder
Right.
cam.
And it was so cool.
It was so cool. That was
Especially
a
with
great
the
game.
fog that was over them. It was really
I mean, the
interesting.
Falcons got Shrek'd, but, I mean, that's okay.
I kind of liked seeing them getting sharked once again by the Patriots, but, you know, it's just me. I know you're a Falcons fan, but...
Rest in peace, Atlanta. What a way to go.
Yeah.
Man, there are people that think Matt Ryan's good. Let's just take a moment.
Oh, my God.
No, he is good, but that's it. Good. You're good.
All right, who's better, Matt Ryan or Jay Cutler? Go.
Better at
Colin
what?
Kaepernick.
Exactly.
Better at what? Being a Dolphin? Oh, my goodness. You know how great of a tweet Jay Cutler passes his physical, is officially a Dolphin? You know how much better of a tweet that would be if football didn't exist?
What?
Jay Cutler passes his physical, is officially a Dolphin. You know how much better of a tweet that would be if football didn't exist?
He's a dolphin now. He's a porpoise. Oh,
Anyhow.
Makes sense because the ball keeps...
Gosh,
looking at
that's
us.
awful.
So, Jerry Jones. I think he has a case. I think Jerry Jones being Jerry Jones and having millions of dollars at his disposal somehow will make Roger Goodell not be the commissioner next year. I mean, it could be a combination of a lot of CEOs now that he's stepped out now because he's Dallas. He's the big guy.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, I'm calling you out. What are you gonna do? And I mean, they kind of were like, we'll disenfranchise you. Like that is the big gun.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen if all those teams went against
Right.
the
What
NFL?
if every team,
did it?
or let's say 16 teams,
Yeah.
or even just 5?
And like, think about suddenly all the power in the league being put to the 32 teams.
It's actually
Right.
scary because it wouldn't be the 32 teams; it'd be the 32 CEOs, and they'd be like, "Let's rebuild football."
And then you have the lonely Green Bay Packers who just don't have a CEO. That's like
They're owned by the fans.
Yeah, they're owned by the fans, and all the fans are
All
like,
the season ticket holders.
One huge conference room of like 31 people in suits, and then like 700 people in
With
green
cheese
shirts
heads.
with cheese heads.
Yeah.
And like, what's up?
like
Lambeau League.
like it's like there's just so much power that could be had by that. What if all 32 owners were just like, hey, do you want to just get together and like take this over?
You know,
Because they totally could have.
I'm
But that's
sure
the
Jerry
reason they
Jones has
put it-
made that phone call
Yeah.
so many times, and I bet you half of them have been like, "You're stupid."
But like,
Yeah.
if they didn't think he was stupid, and like
Yeah.
all of the, if they had every team,
But that's the reason they put a commissioner in place, because originally it was like
that.
The owners of the clubs they just ran the show, and it was ridiculous because all the power would fall to just like a couple, and that's why they have a commissioner. So he's like, I mean, it's supposed to sort of like help break up the whole, like there being one or two teams that are better than everyone else.
Yes. Another point I would like to add is Baltimore, whoever their CEO is a big contender for the potential rule change of on a kickoff, if you kick the ball through the uprights, that's an extra point, like another point. And there are a couple teams that are wanting to like make that a rule. That being said, Baltimore has a great kicker. Of course, they're going to advocate that.
Dude,
Tampa Bay is not going to. They're going to be like, no, that's awful. Why would you no? Like Oakland, yeah, they want that to be a rule.
So
New England, yes, but
so speaking of that, I mean, I think we all agree that like Roger Goodell is pretty much a bad commissioner. Or he's not necessarily a bad commissioner, but he's like not very well liked. Jerry Jones is just out for blood because he had his new toy stolen away from him. But that's an interesting point. That rule change.
There's a lot of rule changes.
There's a lot of like changes in the NFL right now. So like with that one, do you think? I'm not sorry. Not do you think? Do you know if like Justin Tucker kicks it off, goes through the upright, Baltimore gets a point, and then
opposing team still gets ball on the 20.
On the 25 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're proposing.
I think that's a great rule.
They're also proposing, you know, they backed up the PAT.
Right.
And it's not a gimme anymore.
No.
It's a 80%er.
Yeah.
Now. This was a rule that I just saw proposed. I don't even know who's proposing it, but first PAT's at the 5-yard line, and then it's at 10, and then it's at 15, and they just back you up 5 yards every time that you score a touchdown. One that keeps people from racking up the score, I guess. But
I mean, it's just one point though.
If you've got a shootout of a game, those PATs are important.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, they're saying, you know, but if you want to go for 2, it's still the 3.
Yeah.
And it gets, okay, yes, you don't want a lot of linemen hitting their heads against each other every chance they get. I understand that. But in the aspect of ratings-wise, I want to watch people go for 2. I want to watch people squib kick. I want to watch people do exciting stuff. Titans, they didn't get it, but their first kickoff this season, onside kick. Like, that's the kind of stuff that people are like, wow, football's cool. Like, football is actually enjoyable to watch, not, and another booming kickoff into the third row of the bleachers. Patriots start with the ball at 25. Fourth quarter, minute 30 seconds. Brady leads the Patriots to a 715th fourth down, or fourth quarter comeback win.
Yeah.
Everybody was crazy. Like, it's just boring. I hate watching Tom Brady for the sheer fact that it's boring. You're like, he's going to do it. Yeah.
It's predictable.
He's just...
No, you
when
like
was the last
it?
time he didn't do it? Is the thing.
Ooh, that's a good question.
A couple times.
Yeah, but when were those couple of times?
Not against the
let me
Titans
look at my
in the
bag of
AFC
records
championship
here.
games.
Well, Joe, I thought you had all the records.
I'd have to really...
That's what sucks as a Titans fan. The Titans can literally be the greatest team in the AFC, but they're not going to beat the Patriots.
Or the Steelers.
They could if they get a big enough lead. Like more than Atlanta.
If they have more,
you mean like a 28?
If they have more,
no, we're talking like
than
a
7
45
points.
to 3.
Oh, okay.
If they have more than 7-point lead, and Brady is not on the field, then they win.
Yeah.
If I was playing against the Patriots, I would literally put like 5th string Joe Blow out there, and I'd be like, I don't care how long it's been since he's thrown the ball. You hurt that boy.
I need you to go
That's terrible
full
to say. It's
Vontaze
probably why
perfect
I'm
on
not- That's why I'm not an NFL coach, but like, if you want to beat the Patriots, you got to get Brady out of there.
Well, I mean, Garoppolo is gone.
Garoppolo is gone.
Who's the other guy?
Who's left? Yeah. Garoppolo was going to be a good successor to Brady.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they traded him for a draft
But
pick, didn't they?
they
traded
did.
him to
Garoppolo only had one more year this year. They would have had to have rebought his contract, and they already think that Brady's going to play for another year. It's a smart trade.
Yeah, I thought he already got his contract extended, didn't he?
Which is really stupid because the 49ers were just like, yeah, we'll rebuy his contract.
No,
and give
I
you
was
a
talking
draft
about
pick.
Brady's contract.
Larry Fitzgerald just extended his contract.
By 1 year.
By 1 year. He's an old man.
He is hurting for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he is.
like Larry.
Yeah.
Dude, he's not getting a Super Bowl with those Cardinals.
Anyhow,
Rip.
bringing it back.
Bring it
Jerry
back.
Jones. You guys think he's got a chance?
Nope.
I think he does.
I don't.
He doesn't
One
have
guy
to give him
against
away.
the NFL.
So wait, you
If
say
they-
you don't?
No. I
You-
mean, if the NFL's initial reaction was sit down or we're going to disenfranchise you. Like,
So,
I mean, he can sit there and he's Jerry Jones. Like, he's going to bark and bark and bark and bark and bark. But what is he going to do? Is he going to disenfranchise himself? He's going to be like, you know what? We're not going to play today. And everyone in their conference is going to be like, cool.
thanks. Peace. Peace.
We needed an extra bye this year. You know? Like I don't know what his cards are.
This time.
So you don't think Jerry Jones wins this? Do you think that he gets disenfranchised, or do you just think...
I don't think he gets disenfranchised. I think he finally just says,
okay.
Yeah. Because genuinely, if Ezekiel Elliott, if there hadn't been all this hubbub about Ezekiel Elliott and him being suspended and then not suspended and not suspended 6 times, it would be a non-issue.
Yeah.
Players get suspended all the time. And most of them go, yeah, he screwed up. He needs to pay his debt. Okay, whatever. Right. But also, most of those teams who have that player, they're either 1 or 2 game suspensions, or they have no chance anyway. Right. You know, they're not even a playoff contender. His
case was kind of done wrongfully.
It was not handled well.
The NFL brought up new evidence in the middle of the case and was just kind of like, well, what about this? And they're like, where did that come from?
Yeah. The NFL has recently come out with, not recently, in the past couple of years, come out with this, zero tolerance policy against, domestic violence. Yeah. Which they should, because they had players who were beating up women in elevators, and it was no, they're good. It's okay. He makes this team a lot of money, so it's okay. But, so, I mean, I understand where they're coming from. It's just it's sort of like they're backdating everything. It's oh, yeah, I remember, he had a complaint filed against him a couple years ago. We need to go suspend him for that. And he did this about 6 months ago. We need to go make sure we take care of that. It feels like they're, trying to backtrack to cover themselves, which is why it, to me, seems like they're shooting themselves in the foot.
I just hate, because the NFL is a meritocracy, and it's dude, we don't care if you kick puppies in your free time, dude. As long as you're throwing bombs, you playing for us. I hate that, because you have these great guys like Deshaun Watson, who gave away his first paycheck to his high school lunch lady.
Yeah. He was well, Michael Vick's a great example of that. I mean, he did not dip in skill. They were just you're fighting dogs?
Dude, you do a what? Bruh.
It's get out.
Yeah.
Just get out of my locker room.
Yeah, that is a great argument. He was in his prime. I mean,
he was in his prime.
I don't know the point when Michael Vick wasn't in his prime.
When he came back. He was not in his prime.
When he first was on the Falcons, he was pretty garbage.
Yeah, but he ended up being really good.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he was a dual threat quarterback before the dual threat quarterbacks were on every single team.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he still screwed up in the NFL. Yeah. Well, I guess that was an NFL. That was more of an Atlanta thing. Yeah. That was in-house that they took care of that.
Yeah, that's why he was allowed to play.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
Rough.
I just don't want. Oh my gosh. I just don't like that there are so many not so great people in the NFL, and they just go, oh well, you're real good at catching footballs, man. How about you just keep playing for us? We don't care about what you do outside of here until it gets to the point of, oh, you messed up. Now you're done.
Yeah. They're having legal action outside of the NFL. We can't have convicts playing. Sorry.
Yeah. Rip. Well, everybody pretty satisfied with all that?
I guess.
Anything else to add?
It's just kind of hopeless to look on. You're just man, you're taking on something
big.
Just be
Best
careful.
of luck, Jerry Jones. Please don't disenfranchise the Dallas Cowboys. So
if you do, and you decide that you're just going to cut bait and run, you can always send us some money.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate it. We're looking to expand. We want to get some better equipment, things like that.
Right.
Do better things for our viewers. If you want to throw a couple $1 million our way, I mean, that's pocket change for you, Mr. Jones.
We'll even run with Ezekiel Elliott, keep him in shape while he's suspended.
Yeah.
Because he can't be on the training grounds.
Anything you want.
Yeah.
Just call us up. Mm-hmm. We'll be there. We'll do whatever. We'll drop our jobs. They'll be okay.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Anyways, while you're there, Jerry Jones, check out our Facebook. Check out our Twitter. We've got some stuff for you.
Yep.
Leave us a like, subscribe. tell us if you want to hear something specific that you want us to talk about, because it is not the easiest thing coming up with these topics. But we hope you enjoy it. Give us your feedback. As always, Caleb, Zach, and Joe. But that's
But that's okay.
Bye.